to the ligaments around. Also, star pass rusher Micah Parsons has also torn his ACL. They will both be out for the remainder of the season. Packers still in the playoff hunt, though. Monday Night Football, Miami in Pittsburgh taking on the Steelers. Pittsburgh currently favored by 3 after opening as 3.5-point favorites. The point total is set at 42.5. That game is going at 5:15. The support has been furnished by Genuine.
Fletch Zone.
Not like other guys.
Nothing like some artwork when you're going to take a piss.
Sound off like you got a pair.
I like mine to stand stiff.
Hey, yo.
An NFL Sunday marked by the good.
Rivers backs into the shotgun, takes a step, 3-step drop, looking, throws inside the 5, touchdown for the Colts.
The bad.
Watch as he goes to the ground. It looks like that. The left knee. Yep, you saw it.
And the ugly.
Touchdown Eagles. Touchdown Eagles. Touchdown Eagles.
Is it over?
Touchdown Eagles.
While the 49ers move closer to the playoffs.
The 49ers get to 10 wins with 3 to play.
Well, we won't mention the Chiefs' fate. Just say that if Travis and Taylor want to get married, January is now open.
Bye, Felicia.
Leave the picks alone today, as it's a solemn Sunday for someone who will remain nameless and is on the show and isn't named Fletch.
That's Sammy Long.
So much to cover on a Monday afternoon, and we get started from the San Diego Sports 760 studios in the Fletch Zone.
Oh, yes. Let's get it going. Happy Monday, everybody. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And I swear to you, I made a commitment, nay, a promise to myself that I would come in here today and I would be so nice to Sammy Long, because it's rough when your team gets eliminated from the postseason. It's rough when your starting quarterback has a season-ending injury, and who knows, maybe someone next season as well. But Big Voice Guy said, screw that. We are going to go all in right away. Screw you, Sammy. Screw the Chiefs. That's what just happened, Sammy. Are you okay?
No, it's a terrible day. You said it's a good morning. I disagree. It's been a rough 24 hours. Listen, I thought the Chiefs were done heading into the game, but to lose Mahomes 2 minutes out when the season, I mean, just
when he probably shouldn't have even been playing anymore. Like, the Chargers had you guys beat so bad.
Well, the Chargers didn't do anything yesterday. This is about the fact that the Mahomes, I can't even fathom. Like, I mean, CJ sent it to me, our Big Voice Guy. When it rains, it pours. Mm-hmm. Like, why? Like, why did this have to happen?
We will get to the Chiefs today. We will spend some time on the future. And if the dynasty as it's currently constituted is done, and if they need to restart with Patrick Mahomes, much like his knee getting rebuilt. But there's a lot to get to today on a Monday. And that's not where we're going to start. We are going to start with Philip Rivers, who on 4 days of work with his brand new team, the Indianapolis Colts, gets out there and plays pretty well. Maybe I'm watching a different game than everyone else is watching. But Phil looked like he probably could have been playing for the last 4 seasons and led the Colts to within 2 points of beating the Seattle Seahawks, who, if you haven't been watching the Seahawks season, they've been phenomenal defensively, offensively, putting up big points and blowing teams out all season long, taking the Los Angeles Rams up to the final second of their game about a month and a half ago. So the Seattle Seahawks, formidable opponent with a really good defensive line for Philip Rivers to get his first NFL action since the year 2020. And for him to go out there and play the way he did, it got me a little misty-eyed at times, if I'm being completely honest, and watching Phil go out there and smack talk and compete. And then something that has stayed in my brain forever when it comes to the world of professional football is Philip Rivers on this station. Back when I was doing a show with Nick Hardwick and Judson Richards, we were talking to him about how you can tell if a young quarterback is going to have the stones to make it in the NFL. And Philip said, game on the line, 3rd and 7. What does that young quarterback do in that situation? And yesterday, as fate would have it, Philip Rivers was about to take a snap at 3rd and 7 with the game on the line within 2 minutes left to play against the Seattle Seahawks on a drive that he was trying to set up a field goal to take the lead late in the game. And by golly, to take one of Phil's words, he made the play on that 3rd and 7. It was the little button hook to Alec Pierce. He made the play. They kick the field goal. They make it. And then Sam Darnold is able to lead a charge all the way down the field with the help of Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is fantastic, by the way, and hit the eventual game-winning field goal. And then, of course, Philip Rivers would have another opportunity through an interception right away in a situation where it had to be perfect, and it wasn't perfect. But from my eyes, Philip Rivers, that went about as good as could be expected for a guy who's coming off of 4 years of rest to get back in the NFL with the team he spent about 3 days with before game time to go out and play like that, I thought was wildly impressive.
I thought he looked good. I was actually kind of disappointed in Shane Steichen. Like, wouldn't really let him cut it loose, and I get it. It was his first game back.
I don't know if he could. It didn't look great when he threw the ball more than 20 yards down the field.
Well, like, his first 3 passes all should have been caught. That's what's kind of crazy watching the game is you're like, wait, this guy's off the couch 5 years. Like, the receivers need to help him out. Like, it was kind of crazy. The first 3 passes were pretty accurate, and they were all dropped. He went 18 for 27. To your point, they weren't big shots down the field. It was only 120 yards passing. You know, he had the pick at the end of the game, but he did leave the field before that last little 11-second drive with the lead. So I got to give Phillip Rivers a lot of credit. He did do a lot better than I thought he was going to do. And I kind of put a little bit this on the Colts, the rest of the Colts offense for not helping him out. Like Jonathan Taylor did his piece. I get it. He didn't look like he had his whole arm, but it's like the Seahawks knew that they were going to run the ball so much that it was becoming ineffective at times. And you feel like if Shane Steichen could have caught them in a screen or caught him in a little bit of a go route, you point to that 3rd and 7 to Alec Pierce. He still could throw the back shoulder fade. Yeah. No, was it 50 yards down the field? It wasn't, but he did have the accuracy. I'm curious when he gets a full week of practice under his belt, if he's going to look a lot better next week, but I got to give Phillip Rivers credit. I'm glad what happened. I wanted him to win the game. That didn't happen, but he didn't get hurt. He had some moments where you're like, damn, how about Phillip Rivers? Good for him.
Seriously, at one point I was like, where have you been the last 4 years? You probably could have kept doing this.
Well, that's why I think Sunday went about as good as it could have gone despite them not getting the win. Like, no injury, good moments, possibly grow on it. I think that's what we wanted to see from Phillip Rivers on Sunday.
I mean, he's definitely earned himself another start. I would say he's probably starting until they're out of playoff contention.
They confirmed it for against your Niners.
Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. Niners playing some good ball these days, but we'll see how it goes, man. And I was rooting for Phil hard, not just because he was playing the Seahawks, but I wanted to see the success story. Hell, if he plays well like that for the next couple of weeks, I would imagine a comeback player of the year is potentially out there for Phillip Rivers. I don't know how long you have to play to qualify for that, but it was fun to watch old number 17 get out there slinging the rock for the Indianapolis Colts. So if you have any reaction to that, you can hit us on the text line 70470. Start your message with team on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. And of course on the talkback mic, if you want to leave us a message about old Phillip Rivers, we'd love to hear from you today. So just open up the free iHeartRadio app, listen to San Diego Sports 760. And after you add us to your presets by hitting that little plus button, there's a red microphone icon in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You could leave up to 30 seconds. It goes straight to Sammy. We'll play any Phillip Rivers reaction today on the air. We'd love to hear from you. All right, with all that being said, we had a ridiculously busy day of NFL football. I actually had a ridiculously busy day today that I'll have to tell the story of at some point because it's hysterical. But Sammy, let's get to the big 3 here in hour number 1. Go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
We also have some tickets to give away today, Sammy Long. You ready for these? These are good ones.
Let's hear them.
So both events that I will be at. First one, we got a pair of tickets for you to go to Viejas Arena this Wednesday night. San Diego State basketball opening up conference play against the Air Force.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to go to that game, you're going to have to call us at a designated time. We'll tell you when later. But 877-767-4760 is the number. Now, the second pair of tickets we have is a concert that's coming to Snapdragon Stadium this upcoming summer, July 31st and August 1st. But we have the tickets for July 31st. I will be there partying my face off in the tailgate lot. I promise you that. Zach Bryan coming to San Diego. He's awesome, man. That's going to be a fun show. Ticketmaster.com for tickets. But July 31st at Snapdragon Stadium, we got a pair of tickets for you. We'll be giving those away coming up very, very soon. Sammy, where are we starting?
All right, let's go. What team do you trust more? The Pats coming off a close loss to the Buffalo Bills with the big comeback, or the Broncos getting a big win over the Packers?
I'm very glad you phrased the question like that. It actually leads to a text we got before we even got on the air today, Sammy.
Yeah, our Broncos fan is...
From the 619, how are Fletch and Sammy going to hate and discredit the Broncos this week other than saying I have to see it in the playoffs?
Well, I mean,
first of all, 619, it's completely fair that we have to see it in the playoffs.
I was about to say.
But I'm not going to discredit the Broncos today. I've been waiting for a performance like this to give some flowers over to the Broncos. And Bo Nix finishing with 4 touchdown passes. He looked great. It seemed like Sean Payton finally opened up the playbook a little bit to more than just screens. That play down the left sideline late in the game to Cortland Sutton. Like, I looked at what the Broncos did yesterday, and I'm like, oh, if that's the team we see in the postseason, you could be a real problem for people. because the defense with Surtain being back and playing well, it's one of the best defenses in the league right now. But if you open up Bo Nix and let him show off that arm a little bit, he actually has a pretty nice arm. And we saw that yesterday. So I'm going to say these two teams are still exactly even in terms of my trust factor. I need to see it in the playoffs for both of them. I'm sorry, 619.
So I'll give Denver their props. Denver's a damn good football team. They're one of the most complete football teams left in the field. If you're looking at pure roster, you can make a case they're going to go far. I do need to see it in the postseason. And I'm going to give Bo Nix his flowers. He's been a lot better recently this season than I thought he was going to be. I really kind of did not believe it last year when I saw it at times. He had 302 yards passing, 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. So I want to give him the props. Hafley, defensive coordinator for the Packers, they haven't given that up in like 2 years, 4 touchdowns to anybody. Now, watching that game, there were some fortunate moments for Bo Nix, and there were some close passes that did not get intercepted, mainly in the fourth quarter, about 5 minutes to go.
Not to mention there was like a 5-play stretch where everybody on the Packers decided to get hurt.
Right. So, and let's not kid, like Micah Parsons going out in the third quarter didn't completely change that game. Again, I want to give them mad props. The Broncos are a damn good football team, and Bo Nix is impressive. But if I'm being God's honest truth, if Josh Allen or CJ Stroud are coming to them in the first round of the playoffs, I don't know who I'm picking. Because I
think against the Texans, I take the Broncos. Against the Bills, I take the Bills.
The Texans are interesting because they play the exact same style of football in that they both have great defenses. Now, it would be in Denver, but it comes down to who do you trust more, Bo Nix or CJ Stroud? And I don't know where I'm at with that. I'd probably trust CJ Stroud. Again, maybe Bo Nix is an elite quarterback and he runs through the playoffs, and I will eat my words. I will be the first one to come on here and go, credit to Bo Nix. He's a superstar quarterback. I think Bo Nix is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback, and I think we're going to see that possibly in the postseason.
And we're going to have to sit down for a little bit and talk about that Bills-Patriots game, and we will coming up in just a little bit, but that was chaos as well. All right, Sammy, what's next?
So the Lions lose. Pretty good game to the Rams. They fought pretty well in that one. And then the Ravens blanked the Bengals yesterday, 24-0. Who would be more dangerous, though, if they sneak in the playoffs?
Ravens. The Ravens learned how to play defense again. What was that? Where did that come from? This is the Ravens team that's been giving up points all season long. It has not been the traditional John Harbaugh-led Ravens. Now, you're dealing with a Bengals team who offensively is ridiculously potent with Joe Burrow back. They're missing T. Higgins, and that's a big part of the story, if we're being honest. But I look at that Ravens game from yesterday, and I'm like, without a whole lot of competition, the Ravens may run through the AFC in the postseason if they get to the postseason. So I think the Ravens are the most dangerous team in football right now, not just the AFC.
Really?
If they get into the postseason, yes. Which Steelers play tonight. If the Steelers lose tonight, all of a sudden the Ravens are back in control of the AFC North.
I think both are very dangerous. The Lions are very dangerous because of the brand of football. Do I think they're going to the Super Bowl if they get a 7 seed? No, because the defense and secondary has been a problem all year. They do have the makings of a team that's held, though, that they have a star pass rusher. I got to give Dan Campbell credit. He's figured out the offensive, calling plays now for the Lions. Jamison Williams has been totally unlocked now. Amon-Ra had a huge game back in L.A. against the Rams. They can run the football with Gibbs. Gibbs didn't even have that big of a rushing day, but Goff and them really lit it up. And they would be going to either Chicago, Philadelphia, one of these teams that there's been struggles offensive. Philadelphia's offense has been anemic. We're taken out yesterday because they're playing the Raiders, and the Raiders are the Raiders. Chicago, I like Chicago. The offense has been there, but it would not shock me at all if the Lions went into either of those two places and won. The Ravens, though, would get to host a playoff game because they would be winning their division. And the AFC is just so wide open because if you look at Denver is probably one of the most complete teams in the AFC. Do you trust Bo Nix, though? Josh Allen's the best quarterback left in the AFC, I think, but I don't think you can trust that team. The defense is awful, and they don't have a number one receiver. The Ravens might be the most complete blend of having a big-time quarterback in Lamar Jackson.
Who's getting healthier, it's obvious.
Who's getting healthier, with a defense that's getting healthier, and a run game. This could be the year that Ravens, they always come in with high expectations, and maybe they come in with no expectations this year because everyone left them for dead, and then all of a sudden they go on a run here. No Joe Burrow, no Patrick Mahomes. There's obviously a path ahead.
Look, you hold the Browns to 0 points, and it's impressive. Any shutout in the NFL is impressive. Holding Joe Burrow to 0 points is much more impressive, and that's what the Ravens did yesterday. Sammy, let's squeeze one more in.
Let's go to Monday Night Football. Whose job is more secure, Mike Tomlin or Mike McDaniels?
All right, in an odd way, I actually think with the way the Dolphins have been playing down the stretch, Mike McDaniel's job might be a little more secure. Because I do think that the Steelers, it's not just going to be noise from the Steelers front office seeing Mike Tomlin out the door. I think Mike Tomlin also is going to recognize that it's time for him to maybe move on from the Pittsburgh Steelers and see what's next. I think Mike McDaniels is the coach of the Dolphins next year. It's weird, but that Tyreek Hill injury, since then, the Dolphins have actually looked like a pretty competent football team, and they've done it quietly because they've fallen off the map.
Well, they decimated their defense with trades in the offseason.
Right. And I actually look at the Dolphins right now as, are they even Monday night? What's the spread in tonight's game?
It's 3 in favor of Pittsburgh, but they're in Pittsburgh. So they're basically calling it a pick'em game.
Like I'm telling you, this Dolphins team ain't bad anymore. And they were a joke. They were the punchline at the beginning of the season, but I give Mike McDaniel and the coaching staff a lot of credit for quietly kind of turning this thing around to the point where right now, yeah, it's an outside shot. It's like a 1% shot, but they still aren't mathematically eliminated from the postseason. And I think at this point, 7 or 8 weeks ago, we would have said there's no shot that the Dolphins have a chance to even eke into the postseason. So I give Mike McDaniel a ton of credit. Mike Tomlin's on the hotter seat.
My thing though with Tomlin is like, I'm with it. I would not fire Mike McDaniel. I don't know who you're going to get. Like, are you going to sub Mike McDaniel out with Brian Daboll?
Maybe Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, hell, maybe they switch. Mike McDaniel, though, like if you're going to get Brian Daboll, it's kind of similar credentials. I think Mike McDaniel's done more with less than Brian Daboll has. Brian Daboll's only calling card is that he fixed Josh Allen. But we've seen Josh Allen become a superstar regardless of who the offensive coordinator is, Joe Brady, whoever it is since then. So I give Daboll credit. I would keep Mike McDaniel. Though I kind of think with Tomlin, though, is this just fans making this? Because the Steelers are a really well-run organization. This is not like the Bengals. This is not an organization that's going to succumb to peer pressure, honestly, from the fan base.
And it is a nationwide fan base who's very loud.
It has a big, I mean, you can go to any bar in the country in a game, you're going to see a Steeler fan. They are a massive fan base. I just don't know who are you going to get. Like, I understand Steeler fans' frustrations with the fact that they constantly get to the playoffs. There's not a lot of upside, and you feel like they lose. And you'd honestly be better for Pittsburgh if they bottomed out one year and actually got a quarterback. Because of their coaching, they're always picking in the mid first round. But who are you going to get? And I really don't feel like Mike Tomlin should be at fault for having to deal with Kenny Pickett, having to deal with Mason Rudolph. Aaron Rodgers has been pretty good at times. I think some of the personnel decisions, like trading George Pickens, and maybe that came from Mike Tomlin, is more at fault than Mike Tomlin himself.
Look, and our buddy Jamar is weighing in on YouTube saying, unless there's a clear better option, keep Tomlin for now. Jamar's a huge Steelers fan. I will say, if Tomlin is not the Steelers head coach next year, it's because Mike Tomlin doesn't want to be the Steelers head coach.
He'll get scooped. First off, if you're the Giants, he'll get scooped up immediately.
And Tomlin may make it easy on the organization and say, hey, go ahead, fire me. I know I'll have another job in 5 minutes, but this feels like the time to part. And I think that the Steelers would probably abide by that because it does kind of feel like that relationship has run its course up to this point. And again, I don't think it's Tomlin's fault.
Right, maybe it's best for both parties.
And I don't think Tomlin would ever, for your example, Sammy, ever be okay with winning like 4 games in a season. Right, I don't think that's in his DNA.
Right, because they're too well coached. Pittsburgh is always a tough team to play, regardless of what their record is.
All right, we take a quick break here. We're going to give away our first pair of tickets on the other side, so don't go anywhere. Allen Sliwa is going to be jumping on at 12:30. There's some drama in Lakerland. We'll get to that in just a bit. But coming up next, Josh Allen versus the Patriots. And I did not misspeak. That's what that game was yesterday. It was Josh Allen versus the Patriots. We'll get into it. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. And the Aztecs are back at Viejas Arena this Wednesday night. They got the Air Force opening up Mountain West play. Pre-game coverage will get going at 6 o'clock. John Schaefer's going to have the tip just after 7 right here on your home for the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. And if you're thinking about saying, oh, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long, those guys suck, I'm going to listen to a different radio station. Hang on just a minute, because in 5 minutes, we're giving away Aztecs basketball tickets, and then you can turn us off, but hang on till then. On YouTube, our buddy Rich saying the peppermint beignets at Disneyland were the bomb. I'm sure Fletch had a great weekend, keeping the wife happy and watching Purdy roll. It was kind of a perfect weekend, if I'm being honest.
Weekend for me.
I was at Disneyland on Saturday all day. We were there from 7 a.m. until like 9 p.m. Didn't leave once. I walked like 25,000 steps.
Okay, so
25,000, Sammy. I'm worried about my heart.
It's good for your heart.
Really?
So my dad used to work for ESPN, and so we would get free passes to go to Disneyland when I lived in LA when I was a kid.
Oh, that's nice.
So we go like every Friday after school.
Sure.
And so we used to go a lot in like small chunks. We go for like 3 hours, like ride a couple rides and dip out. I don't know. I've never done that. Like I can't do a day like that at Disney.
Full
7
day.
a.m. to 9:30 is like, what do you even do? Like would you just go on every ride?
Well, we had the park hopper, so we could go between the two parks.
Okay.
So we started in Disneyland, did all the like Fantasyland stuff with the, Snow White and the what's her name? Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, okay.
All those rides, the small ones. And then we did some of the bigger stuff. The new Star Wars ride, by the way, is amazing. Rise of the Resistance ride. It's like the coolest thing you'll ever do. But yeah, we had some peppermint beignets, like our buddy Rich said. They were awesome.
Did you get a churro?
I had a churro, had 3 things of popcorn. Yeah, we ate good at Disneyland. That's why the 25,000 steps were probably key to burn some of those calories.
It's making sure you don't have diabetes after today.
We may, but you should go check it out. And also Disneyland at Christmas time.
Yeah, it's fun.
It gives you all the feels, man. It's cool. So we had a good time, but I know Rich was just there too. I saw it on his Instagram. But where was I going with this? Oh, yes. Earlier today, speaking of having heart attacks, the boys, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, we were on the field at Snapdragon Stadium, Sammy, doing a promotional thing for the Holiday Bowl, which is actually coming up here in a few weeks. It's January 2nd this year. Arizona, SMU should be a good game. But I don't know how much I can say about this video that we cut today, other than it'll be out soon. But speaking of heart attacks, I watched something I did not know was possible today, Sammy. I watched Travis Dale run from one side of the football field long ways all the way to the other side of the football field.
Did he volunteer to do this, or did you guys make him do this?
It wasn't even part of the bit, Sammy. He just kind of disappeared at some point. We were like, where's TD? And then we looked and he was at the 50-yard line running for a touchdown.
What's TD's 40 time? Can we cut that down?
I'm going to guess
10 seconds.
It's probably closer to 15. He wasn't moving fast.
15.
He wasn't moving fast, but he was just took off running. And by the time he got to the end of the field, I was like, how the hell is he going to get back here? I know he's not running back.
They're going to send the cart out for him. They're going to send the cart to the other end and drive him back.
But I was honestly impressed. And when he got back, he was very out of breath. And I thought he might have a heart attack. Thought we might need to resuscitate him. But he lives to see another day. That video will be up soon. It's going to be hysterical.
484 has a text that is fantastic. I don't know if I can read the full thing.
Let's take a look here.
484, I'll read half of this. Fletch being a Disney adult checks out hard.
Probably role plays with the ears on. Yeah, we could read that whole thing. 484, I do really like Disneyland. I'll say I'm a once a year type of guy and do it big. My wife is a 15 times a year type of gal. And yes, we do leave the ears on. So how about that?
Wow. Some not needed information from Ben Fletcher this morning.
How about this? Josh Allen's about to have a baby. You see he's a dad now?
Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld.
That's great.
Posted their picture. But
That's
Josh
so
Allen.
Cute. Oh my God.
Also kind of made the New England Patriots his baby yesterday.
Well,
wow. 21-0. The Patriots got up.
But this is like, so that game specifically.
21-0.
We know this. Like yesterday is nothing that we haven't seen. Josh Allen, James Cook are unbelievable. They can win any game. They can be down on any game and then come back and win. The problem with this,
it ain't going to work in the playoffs.
You're not doing that 4 times winning Super Bowl.
I would agree.
If I would have a very different tune if they had the number 1 seed, and we'll see, maybe they can catch up for the division. If they are somehow able to get home playoff games, I think it checks out a little bit different. It's going to be cold in Buffalo. You're going to be able to have the home field advantage. You can run the football a little bit more. But what happened there, like if you take aside the fact that Josh Allen and James Cook are 2 of the best players at their position, the receiving core is terrible. They have decimated the receiving core down to, like, I get them trying to do the trade Tyreek Hill thing. They trade Stephon Diggs. The offense gets better. Khalil Shakir cannot be your number one receiver. That's the number one option, or Dalton Kincaid right now. Allen's kind of by himself. It's kind of amazing that he's able to do all this with, by himself with the lack of weapons. I don't trust that defense 4 times in the playoffs are going to carry him to the Super Bowl.
I think that game yesterday may have said more about the New England Patriots than it did the Buffalo Bills. The Patriots have played a very weak schedule this year. We could just be very honest about it. And they got a great record. There's a lot of future with Drake May, who looks fantastic. But I do look at the New England Patriots as a team who may get bounced early this year in the postseason, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Who you have more faith in, Patriots or Broncos?
At this point, right now, probably the Broncos. Probably the Broncos.
Really?
As of this exact moment we're standing right now, that could change between now and the start of the postseason. But I look at what the Patriots did yesterday, and I'm like, oh, well, a team that's going to win a Super Bowl is never going to give up a 21-0 lead. That's just not something you can do and go on to win a Super Bowl.
The one thing I would say in the Patriots' defense, though, is that the Bills needed that game way more than the Patriots needed that game. And when you're getting punked like that, because they were punking the Bills, and you get the full Josh Allen experience of them just going absolutely crazy down the stretch, I'm not out on the Patriots just because of what happened yesterday.
I'm not out on them by any means, but they're out of my Super Bowl conversation as of right now. They are.
Really?
Yep.
Just because of yesterday?
Not just because of yesterday, because of the whole season. If you go back and look at their wins, Sammy, outside of the two or the game against the Bills, they won early.
And Tampa Bay, when Tampa Bay was legit.
For sure. But I'm looking at the Patriots as potential early exits in the postseason. All right, San Diego Sports 760. We got Allen Sliwa on, supposed to be right now, but we're going to push him a second here. Right now, we have a pair of tickets to Aztecs Hoops for you. So call now, 877-767-4760. That game's being played this Wednesday night at the Ajas Arena. Give us a call right now if you want a pair of tickets, and go Aztecs.com to buy tickets. Allen Sliwa next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is furnished by Genuine. Brutal day for NFL injuries yesterday. Star pass rusher Micah Parsons has been ruled out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. Patrick Mahomes, with 2 minutes to go in the game against the Chargers, also suffered a torn ACL, though none of the other ligaments appear to be damaged. As of today, Monday Night Football, Dolphins 6-7 traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the 7-6 Steelers. Steelers are currently a 3-point favorite with the point total set at 42.5. The support has been furnished by Genuine.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for the next hour and a half or so. Congratulations to Carrie, who just won those tickets to Aztecs Hoops this upcoming Wednesday night. Our buddy Trey jumping in on YouTube saying, hey, Fletch, I think it's official. The Bears and the Niners are for real in the NFC. Both are 2 of the 4 teams with double-digit wins in the NFC. LFG, so hyped for my Bears. We are loving our coach. It's the Ben Johnson era. Yeah, I think the Bears was my biggest miss of this offseason. It was Sammy's biggest hit of this offseason. Saying that the Bears were going to be a for real team and in the NFC conversation. Now, I do think there are 5 teams with double-digit wins in the NFC right now. You got the Rams, you got the Bears, you got the Seahawks, you got the Niners. Nope, that's 4. There's 4 teams. Congratulations, Trey. You nailed it. Knocks it out of the park. But yeah, the Bears are looking good. They look great yesterday. Putting up 31 points on the Cleveland Browns is no small feat for them to do. Do we got Allen Sliwa? All right, Allen Sliwa, Hoops Talk on YouTube with Allen Sliwa. You can find him there. He's posting updates daily on the NBA and specifically the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the Lakers had a fun little dramatic filled night last night, Allen. And if you want to just take us through it from your point of view, LeBron James, Dillon Brooks, go.
Well, I'm entertaining, right? You don't have too many games in December that you can kind of look back on and really react to and say, oh, I'm sure there's people talking about it. I know you got all the NFL and everything else going on, but it was fun. It was, you had a 20-point lead that the Lakers had. You thought they had it in the bag. Next thing you know, Phoenix storms all the way back. Dillon Brooks hits a 3. They go up 1 and decides, why don't I bump chest LeBron in front of a referee to give the Lakers an opportunity back in this game? He gets himself thrown out. Lakers find a way to win. It was, it's not a typical regular season game, but something I think between these two teams, which is fun. I don't think they like each other, which is a good thing. And I think you can, get some entertainment out of that in the process.
I was about to say, like, when you see a player like Dillon Brooks, kind of the new Patrick Beverley, like, do you like seeing that? Like, as a Laker fan, obviously, I don't like Dillon Brooks, but do you like seeing that in the league, or do you think it went a little too far?
I don't mind it at all. I think as long as he's not doing anything dirty, and that's not to say he hasn't had dirty plays in his career, because I think he has. But let me just use yesterday as an example. I don't have an issue with it. The only thing I don't like about Dillon Brooks is too much of a front runner. When things are going good, he's ready to talk in front of a camera. He's ready to run his mouth. When it's not going his way, he'll do what he did yesterday and not talk to any of the reporters. He used to do that when he was in Memphis. Him and LeBron kind of have an interesting history. LeBron's one of the greatest to ever play the game, and Dillon Brooks is a player that's trying to make a name for himself in the league. If you told me Dillon Brooks was on the Lakers, I think Lakers can use him. I think he'd be perfect for the Lakers. They're not going to get him, but the point I'm trying to make is that he's got a lot of value in the league. I think a lot of teams value what he does. The only thing I don't like about him is when things don't go his way, all of a sudden you can't find him.
Allen Sliwa joining us today. Find him on YouTube, Hoops Talk with Allen Sliwa, posting daily updates on the Lakers and the NBA. Now, Allen, you look at LeBron James, and I was of the mindset early in the season, they should maybe just let this sciatica thing play out for a little longer, get him back around Christmas time, and even then, maybe limit his time. It's the only player I've ever been in favor of load managing, because you want LeBron good to go for a postseason run here. And then I look at a game last night, 36 minutes, 26 points, actually the only starter for the Lakers with a positive plus-minus differential in the game. Like, how much do the Lakers need LeBron right now? And is he really the one who's steering the ship still?
They need him. I think it's just not fair. If you're going to ask LeBron can't be any version that he's been previous in his career, just at this age, and he can't do it consistently, because we could look at last night's game. You look a little bit deeper. He had 8 turnovers. There are a lot of games that, and I do agree with you that these last couple of games, he just looks fresher. He looks better. His legs look better, where that wasn't the case early on. But if the Lakers are going to make a run and you're trying to depend on somebody no player has ever played 23 years in the NBA. LeBron is doing that. Obviously the minutes, the mileage, count all the playoff games that he's played. It just wouldn't be fair to LeBron to ask him to do that. The best role for LeBron this year is Luka does what he does. Austin Reeves is right behind Luka as far as just an all-star caliber player. And then you got all these other role players that are chipping in. And for LeBron, it becomes a luxury in the regular season. And then in the playoffs, it becomes more of a necessity. That's fine because it changes in the playoffs. You got a lot more resting between games. I think that would work to LeBron's advantage.
Allen, Rich Paul kind of made headlines last week talking about how he doesn't believe the Lakers have enough to even not only make the finals, but get to the Western Conference Finals. They've been linked to players like Keon Ellis, Herb Jones. Where are you at with that? Are you kind of in favor of giving up picks to possibly get a player? Or are you kind of like wait and see and look for the future?
No, I think there's a way that I think you killed two birds with one stone. By the way, I don't think anything Rich Paul said was wrong. I think he was right. And I don't think it's too much of a, I think if you're looking at this Lakers team, their record says they're 18-7, top 4 in the Western Conference. But if I told you who's in the Western Conference Finals, a lot of people aren't going to pick the Lakers to get to the Western Conference Finals. They don't play defense. You just, you can't be around 20th ranked defense in the NBA and be one of the top 2 teams in the league, especially because you see some of the, I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch San Antonio over the weekend or you got to watch San Antonio against the Lakers. Nobody's even talking about the Spurs, and they're probably a top 3 team in the Western Conference. So I think everything Rich Paul said was fair, and I think a lot of people already know the Lakers got to go do something. To me, I was reading an article over the weekend. Mark Stein said something that the Lakers could look to just try to grab players like you mentioned, and Herb Jones, something like that. And I'm not telling you that he's coming to the Lakers, but I think a player that's around the same age as Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, you bring somebody like that in, a 3-and-D type of player that's not going to be there for one playoff run, somebody that you feel like can be a part of a core with those 2 players for the next 3-4 years. I think that's the way to approach it. You're probably not going to get Giannis. You're probably not going to get some superstar. Go get players that you think fit and complement what those 2 players bring to the table.
All right, Allen, the Thunder are sitting at 24-2 right now. Do they have their eyeballs set on that Warriors team that only had like 7 losses in a regular season? Do you think they'll push for the record?
Well, first off, they're on a 1-game losing streak.
Oh, no.
So who knows at this point? They could blow the whole thing up at this point. I thought it was interesting. Shea said something over the weekend before that semifinal game, and he said they are going to chase Golden State's record. And I don't know why that kind of stood out to me. I'm like, Shea, there's no need to say it. Look, their play is going to tell them whether they're chasing it or not. But in my mind, when I heard that, I kind of like the way OKC just kind of everything is under the radar. And I think that kind of fits them and their personality and probably fits Shea as well. I think they probably try to break the record. And I think more teams that know they're going for the record, then maybe there's a little bit extra juice into some of these games. And, they have the capability of doing it, but I think for that to be the goal, I don't know if you need to say that in December. I think if it's realistically, you're sitting in mid-March and it's there and, you only have 5 or 6 losses, then I think maybe that's a different story. But interesting to say it in mid-December.
Now, maybe I'm misremembering it, but I'm like the Warriors were pretty public about it, at least down the stretch that they were going for that record. And they got it. The 73-9 season was unreal. But for the rest of the league, it kind of felt like, good, tire yourself out now. We'll see you in the postseason. Is that a worry with this iteration of the Thunder? Or are they deep enough to where that shouldn't matter?
I think, look, the whole league is chasing the Thunder. So whether that's any team in the Western Conference or you're the Knicks in the East or Detroit, who got off to a really great start, I think if you're the Thunder, you know what I love Shea to say? And again, this is just me in my own world. When they said, hey, are you going for the record? Shea would have said, listen, we're going for a back-to-back. That's what we care most about. And if we get the record and it's not affecting us trying to win back-to-back, then that's all that matters. Because as you mentioned, you remember that Warriors team, they're not known for winning 73 games that year. They're known for losing in the NBA Finals and not winning an NBA championship. So I think you go back to the Patriots when they went 18-0 and then lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. It's just, I think if your number one goal is to win a championship, which I think it should be, and I'm sure it is for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I don't know how much you should be chasing, or at least publicly chasing, a record that doesn't guarantee you that you win a championship.
Alan, obviously, to what you said, everyone's chasing Oklahoma City. In the Western Conference, that kind of second tier bubble, you've had your Houston, your Denver. I think the Lakers could be included in there, and maybe San Antonio is making a pull for that. What team in the West do you think would give Oklahoma City the best 7-game series right now?
I've always thought it's Denver. Because of Jokic, and they got to be healthy, but they also have depth. They got guys that have been in the league for a long time. They got players. I liked what they did in the offseason. They brought in some more championship pedigree. They got, I believe in kind of what Denver has put together, not just on paper. Jamal Murray's a champion. Aaron Gordon's a champion. Nikola Jokic is a champion. These guys have been there. They took OKC to 7 last year. But now that we sit here, I watched the San Antonio Spurs dismantle the Lakers without Wemby. They're young. They're hungry. They're fearless. And this was without Wemby. And then obviously Saturday we watched one of the most interesting players anybody's ever seen dribble a basketball in Wemby. They're young enough too. It's like they can play any style that OKC plays. It's kind of a difference between a veteran group that's already won a championship in Denver and these youngsters coming up saying we can go up against anybody. Those two teams are fascinating. And I think it also shows that no matter what the Thunder have also accomplished, it doesn't really mean anything until you get to the playoffs, and we'll see what happens from there.
Allen Sliwa, thank you for your time, man. You can find him on YouTube, Hoops Talk with Allen Sliwa, daily updates on the Lakers and the NBA as a whole. Thank you, Allen. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it.
And hey, Allen, you might want to stick around. We got some news on you, Darvish. Not great news, so we'll tell you that on the other side. Plus, we'll get long shots from Sammy Long. That's next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. 858 texting into the show today saying Sammy would have made an MVP case for Drake May if they beat the Bills, but since they blew a 21-point lead, it's about how the Bills actually don't have enough for a Super Bowl run.
Well, that's actually
LOL.
not what I said. Number one, I think the Bills can win a Super Bowl, but if
it's
you're
all
gonna,
Josh Allen.
if you're going to sit here and tell me that the Bills are a complete football team, you're lying to yourself. Because
Did you see Mike Vrabel after the game?
he had some weird.
It was hilarious. No, it was Mike Vrabel after the game. Some reporter said something along the lines of, "What do you see from Josh Allen on film that makes him such a problem?" Blah 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 blah. And Mike Vrabel just looked at him and was like, "That's why they pay him $60 million a year. He's 6'5". He's 250 pounds. He's fast. He has a great arm. It's like he is the prototype you want to be quarterback, and that's why he's good."
Well, and I don't. This is why the AFC is so tough to look at, because if Cook and Allen again can beat anybody on any given Sunday, I don't care if it's the Houston defense, I don't care if it's the Denver defense, I don't care who it is. But it's hard to think that if they don't end up getting a bye, and there was a big credit to them yesterday because they still have a shot at potentially chasing down the Patriots in that division. I think it changes the narrative a little bit if they're hosting home playoff games. If they're going on the road, I don't see with the inconsistent play, because the Bills team is not that good. You just have two superstar players, and I don't know how that goes for 4 straight games in the playoffs.
Joey Bosa made some big plays yesterday too, but we'll talk about the Bills more in hour 2. Also, we're going to be talking about this in hour 2. This was the tease. Yu Darvish spoke. He spoke with Kevin Acee, and this is what he said. "I'm not necessarily thinking about really pitching as I go through this rehab process right now. I don't have that in my mind. I'm just trying to rehab my arm right now. And if I get the urge to come back, if I feel that I can stand on the mound and come back, then I will go for that, but I'll just leave it there for now." I don't know about you guys. That doesn't really sound like someone to me who's planning on coming back and pitching. And our buddy Tyler on YouTube saying if Darvish does retire, at least it will free up some money for the Padres. We'll see about you, Darvish, but this was the worry when we found out that one of the older pitchers in Major League Baseball was going in for another surgery, was going to miss the entirety of this season. Was that, well, maybe there's not a future for you, Darvish, with the Padres or Major League Baseball at all. We'll see, but we'll talk more about it.
Well, I think the other
too.
thing real quick about that is that they're talking about a possible buyout, which
Correct.
I don't think is the worst thing for the Padres, that you're getting off a 39-year-old pitcher coming off of Tommy John. If you're able to get some money back, obviously that's contingent on them actually doing something with that money and paying for young pitchers. But theoretically, if they would do that,
Wait,
I think
Sammy, paying money?
Yeah, I guess that's where we go wrong. But
wow,
theoretically, if they took some of that money and went out and got a young pitcher, it could be a really good thing for the Padres. But that is looking on the bright side.
Speaking of money, we were so close. Shador Sanders needed to throw like one more ball.
Shador.
We would have cashed, but we did not. So, Sammy, time for a little make good on a Monday. Let's get to long shots. Go ahead, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Pay that man his money.
with long shots.
Shador Sanders. He's good for like one, maybe 50-yard pass a game. Outside of that, he looks kind of average.
Did you see Caleb's throw, by the way?
Caleb was awesome. Look, I think the Bears are the fastest risers yesterday, for me at least. You're welcome, FedEx Trey. The Bears look great against a really good offense or defense.
Bears, depending on the matchup, could win a couple games. I don't think it's Super Bowl this year, but I do think Caleb in this offense taking a massive jump. All right, we got a 3-pick power play. This is actually, power play, excuse me. This is all NFL today. We're going all NFL Monday Night Football. I feel good about this one. First pick, Devon Achane, more than 4 receptions. Mike McDaniel, we know he's the king of the screen. He kind of comes after the Andy Reid West Coast style offense. There's a lot of misdirection, screen passes. Obviously, no Tyreek Hill here for the Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa is 0-4 in games where the weather starts out below 40 degrees. Do you know what the weather is tonight, Fletch?
Like really, really cold.
It's 16 degrees in Pittsburgh.
By the way, Pittsburgh at home on Monday Night Football has some absurd record going. It's like Steelers have won 22 straight home Monday Night Football games, but they're 1-11 when TJ Watt doesn't play. That's from our buddy Jamar. Is
Right.
TJ Watt not playing?
TJ Watt is not playing. Remember, he had that collapsed
That's
lung
right.
last week. Had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, that was
now,
crazy.
I will say a little bit in defense of Tua. Some of these games have been like really, really cold, as also known as the playoff game against the Chiefs, where it was -13. So to give Tua a little slack, I don't think he's quite as bad as people make it out to be in these
That game, by the way, forever remembered as the game that streamed only on Peacock.
That was the first one.
Highly annoying by the NFL. All right, Sammy, who's next?
But Devon Achane, more than 4 receptions anyway. Basically, I think he's going to get in the screen game. Mike McDaniel's going to get him out in space, and he's their fastest, best player on offense. Devon Achane, more than 4 receptions. All right, DK Metcalf, more than 7.5 reception targets. We're going specific on this one. We're staying away from the total from his yards, staying away from receptions. He's had a very down year until last week where he decimated Baltimore. They found something in that back shoulder fade. Him and Aaron Rodgers have had a good connection here. I think they're going to try it again. That's why we're going more than 7.5 reception targets. They're going to try and take him out of it. So I'm not going receptions. I think he's going to have a big game against that secondary to be a little bit safer. I think the Steelers offense is run, throw. That's basically what it is. He's the only guy that they have in their receiving patterns. DK Metcalf, more than 7.5 reception targets. And my last pick, Kenneth Gainwell, more than 26.5 rushing yards. As I just mentioned, the Steelers' offensive game plan, offensive coordinator, very predictable. It's run, pass. Jaylen Warren, questionable tonight with an illness. Just got out of the injury report this morning. He is the higher number at 49.5 rushing yards. Kenneth Gainwell, very good back, kind of speedy out in space, not a lot shiftier than people give him credit for. So considering the Jaylen Warren illness, considering I think the Steelers will have a little bit of a lead in this game, more than 26.5 rush yards for Kenneth Gainwell. He pops the big one tonight. All right, Devon Achane, more than 4 receptions for the Dolphins running back. DK Metcalf, more than 7.5 reception targets. And Kenneth Gainwell, more than 26.5 rush yards for that ground attack for Pittsburgh.
I like it a lot, Sammy. Well done.
I appreciate it.
If you have any comments on Phillip Rivers' return to the field, we'd love to hear them today. You can text us 70470. Start your message with team. You can also leave us a talk back on the free iHeartRadio app. Open it up, find the little microphone icon at the top right-hand corner. When you're listening to San Diego Sports 760, you could leave us up to 30 seconds. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Grandpa Phil coming on back into the NFL. Plus, in hour number 2, pair of tickets to go see Zach Bryan. A will-be sold-out show at Snapdragon Stadium on July 31st. For tickets and info, you can go to Ticketmaster.com. We are giving those tickets away here in hour number 2, so stay tuned. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is furnished by Genuine News out of Padre Land. Kevin Acee reporting that Yu Darvish might possibly consider retirement. They're not sure yet. Padres possibly working on a potential buyout of his big contract. In the NFL tonight, Dolphins in Pittsburgh taking on the Steelers. Steelers currently 3-point favorites. Point total set at 42.5. That game is going at 5:15. This report is furnished by Genuine.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
Not like other guys.
Nothing like some artwork when you're going to take a piss.
Sound off like you got a pair.
I like mine to stand stiff.
Hey, yo.
An NFL Sunday marked by the good
Rivers backs into the shotgun, takes a step, 3-step drop, looking, throws inside the 5, touchdown for the Colts.
the bad
Watch as he goes to the ground. It looks like that. The left knee. Yep, you saw it.
and the ugly.
Touchdown Eagles. Touchdown Eagles. Touchdown Eagles. Is it over? Touchdown Eagles.
While the 49ers move closer to the playoffs.
49ers get to 10 wins with 3 to play.
Well, we won't mention the Chiefs' fate. Just say that if Travis and Taylor want to get married, January is now open.
Bye, Felicia.
Leave the picks alone today, as it's a solemn Sunday for someone who will remain nameless and is on the show and isn't named Fletch.
That's Sammy Long.
So much to cover on a Monday afternoon, and we get started from the San Diego Sports 760 studios in the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, it's hour number 2 here on the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. If it's your first time listening to the show, you picked a good one to listen to because we got Zach Bryant tickets coming up within the next 30 minutes, so don't go anywhere. It is San Diego Sports 760, and we're going to start off this hour with the San Diego Padres, who we got this news from Kevin Acee right around the time our show started today. He released an article that had a bunch of quotes from Yu Darvish in it, and to me, reading the article from Kevin, and you could read it yourself and let me know if you think I'm crazy. It sounds to me like Yu Darvish probably will not pitch again for the San Diego Padres. That's just the vibe I got from the quotes from you. Maybe he will try to make a push for it and make his return, but it sounds like he's okay not pitching again in the major leagues. We knew he was going to miss the entirety of next season. Our fear at the time when we heard about his elbow getting repaired once again was that he may never pitch again, period, in Major League Baseball. And it looks like that might be getting closer to the truth. Now, Sammy pointed something out in the last hour that I do think is the most important part of this entire article. In 2024, Yu Darvish voluntarily forfeited $4 million by going on the restricted list. Do you remember when he had that family issue he was attending to? So he let that money go, the $4 million, and said he wouldn't take it because he's a person of honor and loyalty. So in this iteration of Kevin Acee's article, he says this: sources have indicated there could be negotiations regarding a buyout of the money remaining on Darvish's deal, which is significant. It's a deal that runs through 2029. There's still lots of money on the books for Yu Darvish. So is anyone saying no? That's kind of the question I have here.
Well, that's the thing. I think this is,
if they move on from Darvish and figure out a buyout and he's just done, is anyone saying?
I think it's the best thing that could happen. And that's not disrespecting Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish has been a great pitcher for the Padres.
Sure.
He's held his own. A couple of years ago was I mean, hell, in that game 5 against the Dodgers, he held his own. I know he gave the 2 solo home runs, but you would have thought the Padres could have put together a couple runs. I think if you would have told anyone before that game he held the Dodgers to 2 runs at Dodger Stadium, you'd feel pretty good about the Padres winning. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But Yu Darvish had a great career. But yeah, I mean, the guy's 39. He's coming off the injury. It's going to be 12 to 18 months before he's even back rehabbing or before he's back pitching. He's going to be what, 40? He didn't look like he had the stuff this year, and he talks about how he didn't know if he was really going to continue playing.
And really, the last 4 or 5 seasons, he's had some sort of injury that's held him back at times. And I misspoke. I said the deal runs through 2029. It runs through 2028. But still, there's a lot of money left on this deal.
Well, and that was part of the problem last year, which was so frustrating, is no, they're not spending money. But look at last year. Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish were the 2 pitchers making the most money, and neither of them were pitching.
Correct.
And that's not their fault. Or, well, Darvish is pitching, but for a large part of the season missed, then could only pitch up to 4 innings, didn't look great. So, and then Joe Musgrove obviously is big coming back this year for the Padres. But hey, if with all due respect to Yu Darvish, if they can work out a buyout where they actually get some money back and can put it into the starting pitching rotation, could be the best thing that ever happened. Now, I think what's going to piss everyone off in San Diego is if what happens is Yu Darvish has a buyout, Padres get money back, and then no money is reinvested back into the starting pitching staff because there's been rumors about Nick Pivetta possibly being traded, which kind of seems absurd to me because there's no real plan B.
Last week, Mason Miller was on the trade block all of a sudden.
Well, my thing is like, if you're going to trade Nick Pivetta when his value's high, okay. I hope the plan is not that Joe Musgrove coming off an injury is the number one starter on the staff. That can't be good for Joe Musgrove. He's got to ramp up.
I mean, ultimately, like, it's kind of a wait and see type of thing because last week we started hearing all these things that the Padres are in the mix on something that would rival the Juan Soto trade out of San Diego. Like, with that many moving pieces involved, we didn't see a single thing happen over the weekend. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of wait till February. AJ Preller generally waits till later in the offseason to make things happen. But this Darvish thing is noteworthy. Now, I'll read the quote if you missed it from the first hour. I'm not necessarily thinking about pitching as I go through this rehab process right now. I don't have that in my mind. I'm just trying to rehab my arm. And if I get the urge to come back, if I feel I can stand on the mound and come back, then I will go for that. But I'll just leave it at that for now. That doesn't really sound like a guy to me who's ready to come or make this huge push and go through this rehab, which is going to be time consuming and hard. It more sounds to me like somebody ready to retire. And why would you retire when you have guaranteed money on the books through 2028? So probably a buyout is going to be the best case scenario. Now, Sammy, you illustrated it perfectly. It's an argument that Rich Ornberger and I got in a ton when the Padres would have money that gets freed up is, well, what are they going to do with that money? And I've been hold fast since Peter Seidler took over this organization that they're going to reinvest that money within the organization and bring new players in. I don't have that same feeling anymore.
Right. So
especially with a team trying to get leaner, trying to get cheaper for whatever new ownership group comes in, it actually makes more business sense for the Padres to not reinvest that money anywhere because they're trying to make themselves look more attractive for the next buyer.
It's such a tricky situation with the lockout coming likely next year. And the Padres in massive debt, looking to sell. Again, I've been very upfront. I think the Padres looking to sell is the best thing that ever happened. John Seidler is not Peter Seidler. Peter Seidler cared about putting money into this team and city and trying to win a championship. John Seidler has not shown, just because they have the same last name, that same aptitude to trying to buy their way into this thing. And look, I get that there's been some bad contracts put in that. The Bogarts contract comes to mind.
Peter was reckless.
He was reckless, but at least you got to give Peter Seidler credit in the sense of he tried. He actually, for a bad pun, swung for the fences and tried to actually take down the Dodgers.
And what he cared about was truly winning a World Series. And he may be one of one or one of four in Major League Baseball as an ownership whose legitimate only hope is to win a World Series.
And at least with Peter Seidler, even though not every decision he made worked out, you sat there and went, he's trying to go for it. The worst thing you can hear from a fan base, and it's nothing worse than baseball, because at least in the NBA or the NFL, you have to pay a certain amount of money. Like there's a salary cap, so you have to do it. Is when they go to the press conference, they tell you how they win a World Series, but they don't actually show it with their pocketbooks.
Yeah,
trying to put a team on the field that can realistically win, and that's what it's felt like the last couple of years. It feels like it's like, hey, we got a team that's good enough to get to the postseason, maybe get hot. But are we really going to go push it to the edge and take it over the top? Not really.
We'll see. Moves to be made for sure. And we'll see if they jump on any of them. All right, we're going to get to the big three of hour number 2 here in just a second. We do have Zach Bryan tickets to give away this hour, so don't go anywhere. He's playing Snapdragon Stadium on July 31st and August 1st, I think. There's 2 shows back to back. We got tickets for the July 31st show, so stay tuned if you want to win those. That is a concert I will 100% be at. But Sammy, let's get to the big three here of hour number 2. Go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If you would like to watch this show, you can do so on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. Also on X at Fletch and Sammy. We were asking you about how you felt with Phillip Rivers coming back out on the field. Our buddy John says Uncle Phil looked decent for a grandfather. I would say he looked about as good as we could have expected. That went about as well as we could have expected yesterday with Phil. We'll see how he looks next week against the Niners. Sammy, where we start in hour 2?
Yeah, I think he will look better. But I'm just glad he didn't get hurt.
Dude, if he goes out there and beats the Niners after losing to the Seahawks,
that will bring me so much joy and happiness.
I think I'm going to be pretty mad, if I'm being honest.
Well, that defense looks good, so Purdy better bring his A game.
Purdy's playing nice, dude. Did you see him yesterday? He had a little swag to him.
I mean, I did. You know, when you're playing that schedule, you should look nice. But
you see the play where he had like the longest rush of his career and he stuck the ball out?
Yeah, I know. Purdy's
looking good.
Yeah. We'll see.
Pretty good.
I think it's gonna come to an end here soon. But listen, I'm not talking right now. I'm just gonna wait and let you get excited because it's gonna be more fun here in a month. All right, second year quarterbacks. Who do you trust the most in the postseason? Drake May, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams.
It's a hard question. It's the right question to ask, and it's a question that's going to become very, very meaningful here in a few weeks when the playoffs get started. Believe it or not, God, that's tough. I'm going to say Bo Nix.
But really?
It doesn't feel like the right answer. It really doesn't.
That is not who I would have went with.
I'm going to say Bo Nix, and a lot has to do with yesterday. Caleb Williams made some awesome throws yesterday, and doing that against the Browns defense is wildly impressive. We've seen more from Bo Nix in big situations this year than any of the other two guys you've talked about. Drake May and the Patriots have been winning a lot of games by a lot of points. Now, he was excellent in that first Buffalo Bills game, and he brought them back from behind late, and that was great. Caleb Williams, the Bears have their biggest win of the season against the Philadelphia Eagles, and that was a win entirely from the offensive line in the run game. Bo Nix has had to make big plays in fourth quarters. Now, he's also been the reason that they've been in close games in fourth quarters a lot of the time. He hasn't played well in the first half of many games at all this season. But in the fourth quarter, when asked upon, he has stepped up to make some big plays. So I'm going Bo Nix because we've seen him in the pressure situation pretty much all season long.
Okay. I hear what you're saying about he's played in a tough division. They win these games. So I give Bo Nix credit. And Bo Nix has looked better than what I thought he was going to be. He'd be my last of those three. Drake May would be one. I think we're getting a little too low on Drake May simply because of one game yesterday. Dude did have 2 rushing touchdowns. Like, yes, there were some moments in that game you're like, that's the young player in him. Yesterday, Josh Allen, James Cook did Josh Allen, James Cook things. And they needed that game a lot more than the New England Patriots did. I do think there was a little bit of product at the last 3 games. They had some pretty soft competition, had the Jets in there, a couple teams that they were kind of walking all over. Then you ramp back up in competition. I would go Drake May 1, even though we haven't seen him in the postseason because he's been the most steady all season long. I would go Caleb 2. Caleb with a 3 has the least to work with. He might have more weapons than Drake May on offense, but Bo Nix is the best defense. The Patriots are a very complete football team with a dynamic running back duo, a great head coach, a great defense, a veteran receiver in Stephon Diggs and Kayshon Boutte. I guess you could argue that his receivers aren't quite as good. But Caleb, they are winning because of the offense. Like they are in their spot because the offense is there. The defense is very turnover reliant, has been good at times this year. But if you look at the metrics, they actually rank toward the bottom of the league when they're not getting turnovers. So I would go Drake May 1, Caleb Williams 2, and Bo Nix 3. Not even a shot to Bo Nix. I just think they're winning more because of the fact that the team is so good, rather than I think Bo Nix is carrying the team, unlike the other two.
You know what the best part about that question is?
What?
We are going to get an answer.
Right, we're going to get to see.
In about 4 weeks, we're going to get the answer.
Maybe someone's going to the Super Bowl. Maybe one of those 3. Yeah.
This is going to be such a good NFL playoffs. All right, Sammy, what's next?
All right, story number 2, sticking with the NFL. So kind of a 2-parter. So Jaden Daniels is sat down for the last 3 games of the season. They're giving the reins to Marcus Mariota. Smart, getting a draft pick. Zach Taylor is not shutting down Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will be playing the final 3 games despite the Bengals being out of playoff contention. This comes last week after the comments about he wants to have fun and have joy in football. He said yesterday those comments were not aimed at Cincinnati, but certainly some interesting things coming out of there. What do you make of the Bengals still playing Joe Burrow despite the fact that they're out of playoff contention? And do you think he will be asking for a trade in the offseason?
I think this is really easy for people like me and Sammy to sit back and talk about the fact that, Joe Burrow, they should sit him down for sure. 100%. Football is not basketball. Football is not baseball. Football is a very unique, hard-headed, stubborn, idiotic game when you think about it in a lot of ways. You are getting paid S-loads of money to go out there and beat your brains to a pulp for the entertainment of people like me and Sammy, who either bet on the game, who love to watch the game, who just love that there's a gladiatorial type blood fest game that we get to watch on a regular basis. Joe Burrow said it earlier this year, and I think it was the best phrase we've gotten from an NFL quarterback of the last maybe decade. why he came back from injury so soon for a team that's probably not going to make the playoffs. And he said, I get paid lots of money to go play a game. People pay lots of money to come see me watch a game. I'm going to be out there whenever I can. It's the right move because football is different, because Joe Burrow seems to be built the right way. But
isn't that the exact opposite, that there's a lot more injuries that happen in football?
There's a lot of 12-year-olds who are coming to Cincinnati every single week to watch their hero play, and I think that means something to Joe Burrow.
I think that's
I think that's a good thing.
I think that shows you how bad the Bengals organization is.
Come on.
If they were smart, they would go Joe Burrow, who had an ACL injury in college, had an ACL injury his first year, and then has dealt with a multitude of surgeries and injuries throughout his career. Why you would be playing him the final 3 games of the season with a horrible defense, an offensive line that ranks one of the worst in the league, to get out there. He's one injury away from people start going, how many years is he going to keep playing? And that sucks because Joe Burrow is a beast quarterback and a top 5 quarterback in this game.
That is the smart way to look at football. Football is not a smart sport.
Yeah, but the people in charge, this is why the Bengals have a terrible organization.
Yeah,
the
but
people in charge should not be allowing this to happen.
Let me ask you this seriously, and I promise I'm not trying to take a shot here. If Mahomes didn't tear his ACL
bench
yesterday,
him the final 3 games of the season.
See, that's what you would say as a fan. There's no shot that's what would happen.
I 100% think it would happen. Because
you're going to write letters to Andy Reid and say
because why would, if let's just say Patrick Mahomes is healthy for the final 3 games of the season. Patrick Mahomes has been playing more games than anyone in the NFL because he's been going to Super Bowls.
Maybe the last game of the season he sits out. He doesn't sit out the other ones.
I would have said, if I was running the coaching staff, I think sitting Jaden Daniels, I would have sat Patrick Mahomes if he was available. I would have sat Joe Burrow, especially Joe Burrow. I mean, Jaden Daniels are doing the smart thing. Jaden Daniels has been dealing with an injury all year. Why are you running him out there? I would get your take more if it was in the NBA or baseball, when it's like, okay, I'm a hitter or I'm a scorer, and the last 20 games of the season, we got to sell tickets. We're going to throw him out there.
But this is the same. Like, we clown Anthony Richardson a couple years ago for taking himself out of a game. Like, football is different. Toughness is monetary in the world of football. Like, Joe Burrow may lose respect for people in his locker room if he sits down. I just think it's a different game entirely.
I know, but he's had so many injuries. This is where the organization should step in. Zach Taylor knows he's about to be fired, so he wants to keep him out there to sell some tickets and win some games at the end of the year. If the Steelers would not do this. The Ravens would not do this. The Bengals do this because they're the Bengals, and they're so desperate for attention because they've been labeled as such a bad organization all these years.
I think it's Burrow's decision.
Oh, no way. I'd be taking this out of his hands. No way I would be playing
But it's
him.
Burrow's decision saying, I'm going to play. If he wanted to sit, he could sit.
Right, but he's not going to.
Like, I'm sure the Bengals are okay with him going out there and everything you're saying right now, but I bet you he puts up a fight if they ask him to sit.
If you had a good head coach, your Andy Reid's, your Shanahan's, your Mike Tomlin's, your John Harbaugh's, they would go, we're doing what's best for the team even if you don't like it. We're not. Zach Taylor is not in a position to be doing that.
I would love to get Ornberger's perspective on this. Maybe we could have him on later this week to talk about it, but it is a different world entirely. That it's easy for us to see the smart move on this side of the microphone, but on that side, on the field, in the locker room, it's a different.
But the front office and the head coaching staff should be able to see through that,
maybe
from a different perspective that obviously a player wants to play.
I would also say you try to go out there and tell Joe Burrow, hey, you're sitting down.
If I was head coach, I would 100% have no problem doing that.
San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side of this break, a pair of Zach Bryan tickets are on the line. So don't go anywhere. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. The Aztecs are back at Viejas Arena Wednesday night. They got the Air Force. Pregame coverage will get going at 6. John's going to have the tip-off at 7 right here on your home for the Aztecs. San Diego Sports 760. All right, in my brain, Sammy and I are international superstars. It's just the way I think. I wake up every morning.
We have our guy overseas listen to us every day.
Oh, yeah. Who is that?
That's our. I'm blanking on the spot. I always mess up the country he's in, and I feel bad because is it the Netherlands or is it?
It's hard to know.
It's bad that Fletch doesn't know on the spot,
But not overseas. Actually, just about 25 minutes south of where we are right now. We got Salvador listening from Tijuana.
Yeah.
He says, "Vato soy Salvador desde Tijuana. Son muy buenos comentaristas. Están bien curados. Ve."
Hell yeah, Salvador. This is why I wish I paid more attention in Spanish class.
Which means, hey man, I'm Salvador from Tijuana. You guys are really good commentators. You're hilarious. Bye.
Salvador,
thank you for listening to the show, man. 100% honest. If you're ever up this way, let us know. I would love to have you in studio, chat for a little bit. Maybe you could teach Sammy some Spanish. That'd be fun.
Yeah, you can teach us on air. That'd be awesome. Salvador, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you listening to the show.
Thank you for listening, Salvador from Tijuana. Anytime you're welcome up here, man. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We got a text, Sammy, about the what we should do on the point spread tonight. Do you have that text in front of you? I lost it.
Yeah, we got 858. What's the play on the numbers for tonight's game? Steelers outright, Miami plus 3.5 or over 42.5 points.
All right, so we say this all the time, but my name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. If you are a sports gambler living in Southern California and San Diego, we are your home. This is the spot for you. So welcome in, join the party, and let's talk about it. So, Sammy, I have not made picks on tonight's game. I will be doing so before we kick off tonight, but I do kind of like the Dolphins to win this game. And I don't know if that's me being crazy, but I feel like everything is starting to swing Baltimore's direction. I feel like Miami is starting to get better as the season continues. It does worry me about the fact that it's a cold game and Tua plays like crap in cold games. But with TJ Watt out, I don't know what the Steelers' strength is coming into tonight. And if you look at all three phases of the game, Miami might actually have this one.
I think if you're betting this game, so the total opened at 43.5, it's come down to 42.5.
I like the under a lot.
The under is what it points to. Now, TJ Watt is out. Tua, again, give the stat I gave earlier, 0-5 in games where the temperature starts below 40 degrees. It is 16 degrees tonight. The Steelers offense has really struggled. I think how you're betting this game tonight, if you believe that the Steelers found something last week between DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers, because that connection really kind of started going. That's been the big problem in Pittsburgh, is that there's really no number 2 option. And if I'm a Pittsburgh fan, I'm sitting there going, damn, well, we had George Pickens. You wonder what this offense could have been had George Pickens been the number 2 and DK was the 1. I get it. The relationship between Pickens and Tomlin soured per all reports there. So they got him out of town to Dallas. But Tua, Dolphins not having Tyreek Hill. But Miami, to that end, has quietly been playing some good football over the last month. It's just we all kind of left them for dead, and all of a sudden they have like a crazy outside shot to make the playoffs. Probably not going to happen, but it's an interesting game, especially late November for this, or early, mid-December. Tomlin and McDaniel both kind of on the hot seat. Rodgers and Tua, will they be back next year? Because it was kind of thought that, hey, Miami's going to draft a quarterback. It was done with Tua when Tyreek went down. Well, now all of a sudden they're winning all these games. You're out of the Mendoza sweepstakes. I don't think there's too many other quarterbacks that you've looked at in this draft, whether it's Dante Moore or Ty Simpson or Arch Manning, that you're going, yeah, that's a surefire day one starter. I'm curious if this is kind of a big game, A, for McDaniel and Tomlin, a really big game for Tua, because if he can win this game on the road, I think people will have some buzz about the Dolphins going into next year. And then Rodgers. Can Rodgers make the playoffs? Because if Rodgers makes the playoffs, I think they run it back next year. If he doesn't, I think you're looking at a new QB in Pittsburgh.
I think one other thing that was a total oversight on my part, and I apologize. We talked about how bad Tua was in cold weather. We did not discuss how good Aaron Rodgers has been in cold weather throughout his career.
Green Bay.
28-8 overall in games that start below freezing, which tonight will. What was the number on it tonight, Sammy? The weather?
The 16 degrees.
16.
That's what it opens at kickoff. It's going less.
Sheesh. That's very, very cold. Aaron Rodgers has been dominant in these games. I might be changing my pick live right now.
But to that end, and it's a fair stat, that also counts all the years of prime Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, those loaded Packer teams. It's an interesting game tonight because I wonder if a head
That
coach
is a thing, though. Like Tua struggles in cold weather is a thing. Rodgers' dominance in cold weather absolutely.
does a
is
head coach get fired based on this game tonight?
No, I don't think so. I actually, if I had to put money on it right now, I'd say both these coaches are back with their teams next year. But if there was one to more likely not be with their team, it's probably Mike Tomlin at this point.
To your point earlier, the Steelers fan base is much louder than Miami's, and I don't think with the lack of head coaching candidates, like who are you going to get if you're Mike McDaniel, or if you're the Dolphins, you're going to get Jesse Minter. You're going to go with a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah,
I don't think it's Mike McDaniel's fault what's happened in South Beach.
All right, so this game's going to be fun tonight. We'll talk about that more on the other side. Right now, your opportunity to win a pair of tickets to go see Zach Bryan at Snapdragon Stadium. Awesome place to see a concert. And my brother actually was just at a Zach Bryan show. He said it's one of his favorite concerts he's ever been to. If you want a pair of tickets, caller number 10. We're going big on this one. Caller number 10, you're going to the show, 877-767-4760. Give Sammy a call right now. You can win tickets to go see Zach Bryan, July 31st, Snapdragon Stadium. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. We'll take a quick break here and more Monday Night Football talk on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Alliant University. Kevin Acey reporting that Yu Darvish potentially could be retiring. Padres could potentially work on a buyout for him to get some of that money back of his contract. And we got Monday Night Football. Miami 6-7, Pittsburgh 7-6, both alive, still in the playoff race in the AFC. Pittsburgh is a 3-point favorite tonight with the point total set at 42.5. That game is going at 5:15. Your pathway to your purpose is at Alliant University. Impact the future for those who need it most with your CTC approved teaching certificate. Online flexibility plus hands-on experience means you can excel like never before. Visit alliant.edu, enrolling now.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. Was that our boy Jeremy who won those Zach Brown tickets?
The OG listener right there.
I'm pretty sure Jeremy also a Chiefs fan. Did you guys have a little cry sesh?
Yeah, it's not a good day, man.
No.
It's not a fun day. It's not a lot of hope.
Not for Sammy, not for Cowboys fans, which oddly enough, that Cowboys Vikings game is the one game we really haven't spent any time on, probably because it's 2 6-6 or 6-win teams who aren't going to go anywhere this season. But JJ McCarthy last night kind of balled out. And if you were listening to Chris Collinsworth, he was talking about this is the guy that the Vikings thought they had. And it was a little nauseating at times. And Chris Collinsworth, let's maybe pump the brakes a little bit. But
did you see the Kevin O'Connell thing?
No, what happened with KOC?
So he gritty. Do you see him gritty into the end zone? Okay. Kevin O'Connell was not a fan of that. And he said it post game. And then JJ McCarthy basically admitted that they told him not to do that if he did score. But he said, when I'm told not to do something, it makes me want to do it even more. I'm like, JJ McCarthy, I wouldn't be grittying when your season has been frankly awful until one game against the worst defense in the NFL. Like, shout out to you. That's impressive that you went on the road and got a win in Dallas.
When Dallas was fighting for their playoff lives.
So give him some props. I wonder how I would love to be a fly on the wall in that locker room with Justin Jefferson, him having a 45 QBR when throwing to Justin Jefferson going from the best receiver in the league to just, they can't find him. He can't hit him in stride anywhere. I would love to see the internal reactions from Justin Jefferson about him grittying, beating the Cowboys when they're out of the playoffs.
Because it's kind of Justin Jefferson's thing is the gritty celebration, which is the kind of dumb little shuffle with the hand thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Sammy's really good at it.
No, I never do that.
What's bizarre is looking at the Minnesota Vikings and looking at JJ McCarthy in particular. He's had a couple of nice performances in primetime windows. That early season game against the Falcons, he played well. Is
the Bears game at the end.
Yeah, so it's like he's had a couple of flashes this year, but it has not been a good season for JJ McCarthy at all. Now, last night against the Dallas Cowboys, what's bizarre about JJ McCarthy, when he's throwing to tight ends, he's a pretty damn good quarterback. If he's trying to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, he cannot hit him.
Well, that's concerning.
It's the most concerning thing. It's the biggest red flag. And if I'm KOC, if I'm Kevin O'Connell, I'm immediately looking for a quarterback this offseason because of that. You have the best receiver in football or second best on your team and your quarterback cannot hit him.
So would you, okay, so that's an interesting question. If you are the Vikings, you're going to have a high pick. Are you taking a QB?
Probably not high enough to be in the sweepstakes for like the number 1 overall pick.
No, they're 12 right now.
Right. So you're looking at maybe who's going to drop that far. I think a lot of these guys are end up going back to college next year to collect another NIL paycheck.
I think first off, the college football playoffs can tell us a lot because Dante Moore's playing in it from Oregon and Ty Simpson from Alabama. If either of these guys show out, you're going to see probably one of them because Mendoza is going to be the number 1 pick.
Correct. Probably Raiders or Browns or
whoever gets it. But knowing that it's not really a great, if
I'm one of these teams like the Vikings, like the Dolphins, I would put in this category. Teams that are maybe looking for a quarterback, Steelers also. I'm looking to Kyler Murray and Mac Jones before I'm looking to the draft.
Right, because now there's going to be a point where if some of these guys come out, where I think your late first round picks are going to be very valuable because you're going to have some teams that are like, all right, what the hell? We'll take a shot on one of these guys versus a top 10 pick.
But the blueprint is out there. The blueprint is Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. That's the blueprint right now in the NFL, and it's a copycat league. So like the Seattle Seahawks don't have to worry about a quarterback for the next 7 years because they have Sam Darnold, and he was still relatively young after like the first part of his career burnt out. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they got Baker Mayfield to be a stopgap. It's going to be a little bit longer than a stopgap because he's balling out every single year. And I think the Colts look at Daniel Jones pretty positively. So right now it's who is that next guy? And I got 2 on my list right now. It's Kyler Murray. It's Mac Jones. where are they going to land next year? And they're going to get an opportunity to sign a pretty decent contract to be a starting quarterback for the next few
Kyler
years.
would be interesting if he goes to a team that's like AKA Steelers. If I'm the Steelers, who knows if they're bringing Rodgers back? We'll see. But Kyler Murray there on a 1 to 2 year high loaded deal would be interesting because Kyler Murray's problem is not talent. It's been just kind of a S show down there in Arizona. They had the number 1 seed for that 1 year. They kind of look like the next superstar quarterback, gets blown out by the Rams. It's kind of been just all over the place ever since.
And here's the problem for Kyler Murray's resume. They went out and got him a number 1 wide receiver, and he couldn't make it work with Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's fair.
So if you're not,
I think there's also been some concerns about Marvin Harrison Jr. though.
Absolutely, especially because he's missed the last 3 weeks and he was only supposed to miss 1 week. It's what's going on here.
Drops, but like Mac Jones can be very valuable.
Huge.
Mac Jones is going to be a guy that a lot of teams are going to call for. But so it's going to be whoever gets Mendoza. And then the college football playoff, though, is going to be very telling for the NFL draft because, again, Ty Simpson and Dante Moore are both playing in it. There's been a lot made that they should probably come back and have some more seasoning. But if one of those, like if you're Ty Simpson, let's say, for example, Dante Moore from Oregon decides to go back. Ty Simpson decides to come out.
Didn't we already get some word that Dante is probably going back next year because of the NIL money?
Well, that's an interesting, another question is that college football now,
like quarterback at Oregon, you're probably going to make
you're making like $4 million.
It could be even more than that next year.
So you're sitting there going, if I don't want to test out my NFL thing yet, my NFL career, but if one of these quarterbacks not named Mendoza come out, then they're immediately the second best quarterback. So there's obviously more than one team that's going to need a quarterback in the offseason. Mac Jones probably going to be traded. We'll see what's up with Kyler. We'll see if Miami's looking to move Tua. We'll see if the Steelers have Rodgers back. But the number 2 quarterback could be really sought after and could fly up draft boards because teams just get needy and desperate to take a quarterback, not necessarily where they should go in terms of talent in the NFL draft.
All right. If you missed out on Zach Bryan tickets or Aztecs basketball tickets, never fear. John and Jim have more. We have more on tomorrow's show as well. Coming up next, we will lock in our official picks for tonight's Monday night game from the 615. From your resident Miami Dolphins fan, do not touch this game. This is typically where the Dolphins will break your heart right after getting your hopes up. I actually had a buddy from my hometown who's a Dolphins fan text me essentially that exact same thing. I have placed a wager on tonight's football game, Sammy. I will deliver that on the other side. I hope you will as well.
Yes. This is 615. This is our guy, Ray. I believe this is Ray from the...
Oh, you mean his fake name on Twitter, Ray Kroc? That's not his real name.
That's not his real name?
That's our buddy Budweiser Scott.
It is?
Yes. Same person, though. Or Ray Finkel, I think he is on X, which is a character from Ace Ventura. Not a real person.
That is fantastic. I thought I'd been DMing with Ray.
No, that's Ray Finkel from Ace Ventura Pet Detective, the former Miami Dolphins place kicker who had the laces out and missed an opportunity for Dan Marino to get his only Super Bowl.
That's a deep cut right there. I like that.
All right. Coming up next, picks for tonight's game at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long for a final time here this afternoon. We will have more Zach Bryan tickets, more Aztecs basketball tickets coming up on tomorrow's show. If you've been here today, we appreciate you. If you're a first timer, like our guy Salvador from Tijuana, welcome in.
Salvador.
You're ours now. We're never letting you go. So noon to 2 every single day right here on San Diego Sports 760. This is where you find us. Now, today has been a weird show. I'm going to be completely honest. I got pulled away right after the morning show. I went to Snapdragon Stadium, filmed a bunch of stuff. In fact, Jonathan Rifkin was supposed to do the first hour of the show today, but I ran back in, 5 minutes before we got on air, and I hadn't talked to Sammy a whole lot, I'll be honest. I was worried that Sammy wouldn't be coming to work today because his season's over, and really, if we're being honest, next season for the Chiefs is probably in question at this point. But I did want to ask you this
next
question.
Next season, they'll be back next season.
Maybe. We'll see. I did want to ask you this question today. Has Travis Kelce's story been written as a Kansas City Chief? Is Travis Kelce done at the end of this season?
Yeah, well, especially if Mahomes is missing the first month or a little bit of this. Yeah, Kelce, first off, it's $20 million in the books. Love me some Kelce, but it's time. They got some big money that needs to come off. Jawan Taylor's going to be cut. Mike Dana's going to be cut. A lot of guys going to be cut. I think Kelce hangs it up after this season.
Did you hear Collinsworth and Tirico last night during the Sunday night game? They were talking about the Chiefs for a little bit.
I was watching the Laker game and had that on the computer, so I didn't have the volume up.
They said it might be maybe another 5 years before the Chiefs get back to power.
Well, yeah, that's
because
ridiculous.
of the way everything is built right now.
First off,
that may have been on the pregame show with Tirico. I'm not positive. It was on the Sunday night broadcast.
First off, if you're thinking about this outside, by the way, Patrick got good news today. Apparently, he didn't damage the rest of his ligaments.
Ooh.
Could be ready for training camp.
Still a torn ACL though.
Of course, but he's 30. He's not a running back. He's going to recover from a torn ACL. And by the way, the fact that the Chiefs are getting a top pick might just have them retool this. The Chiefs have not had a top pick in a decade.
So
over a
Sammy
decade.
Went from 2 or 3 weeks ago, don't let us back into the playoffs, to now don't let us get a top 10 pick.
Well, no, I'm just telling you, if you don't think that Mahomes is not coming back, and Andy Reid not being there and all these guys, and you don't think the Chiefs are going to add a little pass rush?
This might be a couple years.
I'm just telling you, Fletch, because you're getting all high and mighty.
Well, here's
your Niners better win something, because first off, Mahomes is going to be back in the postseason. We know who your daddy is in the postseason. And then
daddy
Brock Purdy, you're getting all high and mighty over there, beating the Titans, beating the Browns, beating these trash teams.
Super Bowl.
I am so excited. Guys, the one thing that is giving me joy at the end of this show is that despite all the Chiefs being a disappointment and Mahomes getting hurt, is this kind of behavior from Ben Fletcher, because when it comes crashing down
Super Bowl
on the first week of the NFL postseason, the wild card, I am so excited, and it is going to be one of the greatest Monday shows we have ever put together.
Super Bowl.
Because I've never done a show with Fletch where the Niners have been even relevant, because last year they were so trash.
All right. Hurt people, Sammy. I get this. I understand it, but Super Bowl is coming, and we're all going to be better for it. All right.
You know damn well you're not going to a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Tonight's picks, hosting a Super Bowl, by the way, in Levi Stadium. That's going to be pretty cool. All right, Super Bowl.
It's nice knowing the home team won't be there.
Tonight, Monday Night Football. Let's get into it. Steelers, Dolphins. Line was 3.5. Last I looked. Is that accurate?
It's 3 now.
3 now. Oh, I got screwed then because I took the Steelers minus 3.5.
That's why I told you not to do that when you placed your bet. I don't know why you would take them with the hook and the field goal with an offense that's not very good.
Took the Steelers minus 3.5. Added on that DK Metcalf anytime touchdown. Added on to that the under in tonight's game. 14-3. Steelers win. Boring ass game. Let's go.
Hold on. Did you just pick 14-3?
14-3. Steelers win.
So wait, you're saying the under's gonna hit by 25 points?
Under's gonna smash Sammy Long. 14-3. Steelers win. Book it. I have seen the future. I have peered into my crystal ball. 14-3. Steelers win.
14-3 is crazy.
All right, what do you got, Mr. Smarty Pants?
If 3 points happens, I think we're seeing. You said there won't be any changes. I think if they score 3 points, Mike McDaniel will certainly be fired.
It's cold weather, Sammy. Tua's gonna struggle.
I got a weird feeling Tua's gonna be all right tonight.
All right.
I don't know why. I know he has sucked in cold weather. He's 0-5. I do think this. I keep going back and forth in this game. I do think the Steelers win. I'm going to go 17-14. I think it's kind of an ugly game for a little ways, but I do think the Steelers at the end of the day pull it out. But just because now the Ravens honestly got screwed last week against Steelers. There was that call likely at the touchdown in the end zone. The ball got ripped out and they said it got ripped out even though it looked like a touchdown. They did find something between him and DK Metcalf, Rodgers and Metcalf. TJ Watt, the defense hasn't been great to begin with. And with Tua, I think this is more about making him not complete big plays downfield. So I think it's kind of a slugfest. 17-14 Steelers win.
Text line is wondering if Sammy has never seen Ace Ventura.
Of course I've seen Ace Ventura.
Okay. You didn't know who Ray Finkel was, so we just want to make sure.
No, but I thought that I trusted.
Laces out, Sammy.
I trusted social media, which is a problem at times.
Laces out. 858. What's up with the guaranteed human opening 760 snippet you guys played? Thank you for asking. Here's the deal. And I'm almost positive this is the truth. iHeartRadio is the last company-wide that does not use AI for shows.
Yeah. So these are Ben Fletcher's a real person. Sammy Long's a real person.
You ain't recreating this. That's all I'm saying. Have you heard, by the way, it's not an iHeart station. It's something, I think it's out in Chicago. It's a fully AI.
That's creepy.
Rock show. And
the
lady talks to you. It's kind of scary, dude. 858 need 12 points from the Steelers kicker tonight to move on in one of my league's playoffs. Do you have faith or am I cooked?
I do believe in you. Here's why. Steelers red zone offense.
Hold on. 4 field goals.
Steelers, I know that counteracts my pick, but why I do think you have a shot because I have only 1 field goal with 17 points. Steelers red zone offense has been pretty rough this year.
You think 4 field goals are going to be made tonight?
Well, it depends on his league settings.
That's
insane. He might be a distance league where it counts how long you kick the field goal.
Maybe. I don't know. All right, that's it for us today. John and Jim are coming up next. They're going to have lots of good stuff. If you missed the news, Yu Darvish, I'm sure John and Jim will be covering that a ton today. There's an article out by Kevin Acey that says essentially Yu Darvish quoted in this article, and it sounds like he may not be playing baseball ever again. That's what I took out of it. We'll leave you with that. Happy Monday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.